Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, so there's a question that I've been asking myself and also even posting online on other YouTube channels that specialize in avoidance, such as Dismisses Avoidant and Fearful Avoidant, etc. Now, I know most of you are on this channel because of narcissist abuse, and this is it is a slightly shift over, but avoidance essentially are victims of narcissists. They were attacked and hurt, and it's a long story. I'm not going to get into it, but it's essentially the same thing that was done to empaths. And there's a real similarity about what's going on between avoidance and narcissists. But as I put in my last few videos, avoidance number one are not narcissists at all. They were abused by them and they were hurt emotionally really bad for a long time, and they were taught to be a certain way that conflicts with their natural emotional nature state. So I'm going to give you the question right now. Number one, the question is something that I've been asking for a long time. When I say a long time, probably about 2 or 3 months now. And the question is, why do we fall in love with avoidance so fast and so powerfully, so deeply? Another way of asking the question is, why do we fall in love with avoidance so fast or so intensely? Now, there's a couple theories going around, and I've heard them. I've actually spoke to someone professionally about this, and I'm not really so sold on this one. I have something that came to me when I was thinking about and pondering. I was actually on my bike riding home, and something kind of came to me. Okay, so I'm going to give you the other ones, the theories or the thoughts that people say is, number one, well, it's your twin flame. Well, I'm not really into the whole twin flame journey thing. I'm really not, I'm kind of, yeah, whatever. So from what I've heard, there's kind of mixed feelings about it. The twin flame journey is like the most painful journey you will ever go through because it digs up all your stuff. And you're mirroring each other, etc., etc. Well, that's essentially what narcissists do. They dig up your stuff and they, kind of mirror it back to you. That's not quite what they do, but the point is like you really it takes you deep. Now, from a more maybe psychological or maybe even energy healing perspective, it's like, well, you have charges, and the reason why you're attached to this person or fall so deeply in love is because you have issues or charges underneath all the stuff that need to be dug up, and an avoidant is going to kind of push those buttons. And essentially, these are needs that you had that weren't fulfilled when you were a child, maybe with your parent or your mother or whatever. So an avoidant essentially is going to be triggering these things that have been hidden underneath for many years, and it's going to bring them up to surface to clear and to heal. One of the things that I wholeheartedly agree with, because I've been doing this work for a long time, and for me personally, it's absolutely improved my life. And that work is, there's just a series of techniques and ways to do something that's called self-love, to really love yourself, to learn. See, a lot of people are like, oh, you got to love yourself, and no one ever says, well, how do you do it? Like, what does that mean? Okay. Believe it or not, but when someone truly loves themselves, they have a natural sense of very strong and very healthy boundaries. When I say strong, I don't mean like an avoidant where they just like shut you out and don't talk to you for a month. I don't mean, that's not actually a boundary, and that's definitely not healthy, okay? But I'm talking about if someone steps on your toes, boom, you speak up for yourself. It's so natural, it's so automatic, you don't even think about it. And then the other person goes, whoa, can't push this person around, won't do that again. So a lot of people, I would say on this channel, I would say people in life, most people don't have strong, healthy boundaries. See, healthy boundaries, strong boundaries, it doesn't mean you hide from the world. That's not a boundary, that's hiding. Healthy boundaries, you can interact with other people, go to work, go to lunch, go to the store, go to family gatherings, and still at the same time have your boundaries. So if somebody does something rude, disrespectful, or whatever, you're like, no, That's not acceptable. Stop it. So hiding from the world means you don't have boundaries. Because if you have boundaries, you can go anywhere you want, feel comfortable, and again, it's kind of like if someone does something that you don't like, you automatically speak up for yourself. It's just like, and it's not that you just speak up for yourself. It is so natural. It's assertive, yet it's not angry. And the other word I'm looking for, it's congruent. It comes from a place of being solid, and therefore, boom, it has an impact without trying to impact anyone. They're like, oh yeah, I can't do this, because it comes from a grounded place. I remember many years ago, I was probably in my mid-20s, and Pastor Rex had told me one day, he's like, Michael, you have to have boundaries. You have to speak up for yourself. And I was like, look, what do you mean? He goes, Michael, if someone does something wrong, you got to I don't know if he used this phrase, but essentially it was, you got to put them in their place. You got to let them know it's not okay. And I remember looking at him like, why do I have to do that? Like, because in my mind, like, don't people just know, like, hey, that's rude, you shouldn't do that? And he goes, Michael, people are just messed up. People are the way they are. He goes, you literally have to teach people how to deal with you. You have to teach people how to respect you. That's what he said. And I said, why? Now here's the deal. I was raised the way I was raised. I respect people. I don't step on people's toes. I don't do stuff like that. So I kind of figured, well, doesn't everyone else know this? The answer is no. So it took me many, many years after that conversation. It's like he really didn't do, other than say, you got to speak up for yourself. And saying like, Michael, we, not just me, but you teach people how to treat you. I've heard that a lot, and I finally understood it probably about 15 years ago, maybe 20. Now I'm going to say it again because it's really important. You literally teach people how to treat you. So if someone steps on your toes and you let them do it, they're like, oh, okay, well, this is acceptable. And that's what they mean by when they say, hey, you teach people how to treat you. If you let people treat you a certain way, they're going to do it. So now I'm a Scorpio. One of the traits of a Scorpio is, now in real life, you can go on YouTube right now and Google Scorpio, and I forget what you'd look, but there's a couple of videos where this guy's just poking a Scorpio with a stick over and over, and he's just backing up. And the thing is, the Scorpio's not getting mad or irritated. He's just kind of backing up. And then all of a sudden, boom, the Scorpio strikes. Now, I was in therapy. I was actually an energy healer who also does therapy. And I said, I don't understand, this person was mean to me, and they did it again and again and again and again. And it's like I gave them so much leeway that they went so far beyond the line that not only did I know it, they knew it, and everyone in the room knew it. And then I struck back at them, and I cussed them out and said, what the fuck, why are you doing this? And they looked at me like, dude, what's your effing problem? And my energy healer goes, well, Michael, like, you let them treat you like that for like 3 months, and then all of a sudden you're mad? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I was like, what? She said, and this is when I finally understood what it means when they say, Michael, you teach people how to treat you. She's like, Michael, like, by letting him do that every time he saw you, or 2, 3, 4 times a week, and you never spoke up for yourself, they were just shocked when you didn't like it, because they didn't realize that bothered you. I was like, oh. And the funny thing is, I said, can you believe, because when the person like responded after I got pissed off, they're like, what's your problem, man? Jesus Christ, dude, you're weird. And I'm like, dude, that's fucking rude and bull. And he said, well, I didn't think it bothered you. And so when she told me this, I thought, man, he actually said that. And I remember, and in the past, because my way of dealing with people is just like a Scorpio. They mess with me. It's like, they didn't mean it. They didn't mean it. They didn't mean it. And then it got to the point to where it was like, dude, what the fuck? You've done this like 10 times. And they were always shocked at me, like I was the bad one, like I was the one in the wrong. Because I had taught them that, man, I'm okay with that. Okay, for example, I got one. All right, so let's say you don't like people smoking in your home, in your living room, whatever. And someone comes over and they light up a cigarette and you don't say anything. Let's say you are adamantly like you don't like cigarettes, right? And they smoke a cigarette and then eventually leave. And then they come over a week later and they do it again. And you're like, well, okay, fuck, they're going to smoke a cigarette. And you're kind of getting pissed, but you don't tell them. They don't know. And in your mind, you're thinking, well, I don't have ashtrays. They know that I don't smoke, right? Well, I know it sounds, okay, it kind of sounds bizarre. You're like, well, wouldn't they just kind of notice? Like, yeah, probably. But actually, if you don't tell them, they're not going to know. So let's say they do it a third time, then a fourth time, then a fifth time, then a 10th time. And then one day, out of the clear blue sky, because that's what it's like to them, like, whoa, what's going on here? You blow up at them and you're pissed, like, dude, will you stop effing smoking in my house? I don't like cigarette smokes. And I'm like, well, dude, like, you never told me. Believe it or not, but this was one of the hardest lessons that I had to learn. It was so hard for me to be like, so you mean I have to tell people not to do these things that now it's just from my perspective that I thought was obvious? Yes, you do. And here's the thing, the sooner the better. In fact, here's the deal. I bet 9 out of 10 people, if you would have just told them the first time they did it, they would have been like, oh, okay, sorry about that. And they'd never do it again, and they'd never have a problem with it at all. So one of the theories, call it attachment style theories, when it comes to avoidance, or one of the things about avoidance is like, well, why are we attracted to avoidance, or why do we get into a relationship with avoidance? Is because avoidance, they do something that's similar to devaluing it. I call it fault finding. It's on the same level, but it's different because they're kind of looking for reasons to get out of the relationship once they start getting close to you emotionally. So they're not necessarily doing it to attack you. They're doing it because, okay, here's my reasons for pulling away from the relationship and getting space. So they will eventually kind of pick you apart here and they're fault finding. They're looking for reasons of what's wrong with you. Oh, your teeth. Oh, your shoes. Oh, the way you walk. Oh, you shouldn't say that. And it's these little nitpicking things. But after a period of time, it actually cuts your self-esteem down. It hurts your self-worth. And it really does. And so this is one of the problems being in a relationship with or dating an avoidant. It hurts in your gut, in your solar plexus. And the avoidant doesn't quite realize, it's kind of like a really shitty strategy to protect themselves, but they don't quite realize what they're doing. They're not doing it to be like, yeah, I'm on the attack, I'm going to destroy this person. No, they're kind of saying, hey, I'm going to find a way to put a wall up. Now, I haven't got to my theory yet, but I think this is important, what I'm teaching you right now, because, okay, let's look at it like this. So here I am, I dealt with all these narcissists, boom, I got rid of them, I understand, I see the red flags, and like, okay, I'm doing better, I'm going down the road. It's almost like God said, yeah, not quite yet, buddy. There's something else here, or a series of things here you're going to have to learn and heal and overcome. I would tell you, I met this avoidant. Now, at the time, I barely even knew what an avoidant was. I'd watched 2 videos 2 years ago, and I was like, oh, I'm so burned out to learn about narcissists and Machiavellian and all that stuff, right? And I was like, I can't, this is too much. So I watched 2 videos, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this right now. Well, it came up, and luckily, something in my gut, just the word avoidant came up, and I was like, now I didn't really know what an avoidant was, but something said, yeah, you need to start researching this stuff. And sure enough, I was dating an avoidant. Sweetest young lady I have ever met in my life. I mean, precious. She was, what's the word I was using? Yeah, the word's precious. I already said it. So, I mean, I really love this girl, and it really caught me off guard, like, whoa, because it came out of nowhere. Now let's get back to the God says, hey, Mike, you got something else to learn here, buddy. So I'm thinking, yeah, man, I'm standing my ground. I'm not putting up with people's shit. I'm figuring out narcissist abuse faster, cutting them out, and really like, okay, one of the major things when I almost forgot this. When people say, hey, you need to love yourself. So self-love, one of the main things is having boundaries, speaking up for yourself, and not allowing people to treat you a certain way. Now with narcissists, they're kind of like the big, loud hammer. And yet a lot of us, like, man, did they sneak in? And it took a lot. For some of you, it took years to get out, right? And yet, when you look back, like, man, but it was so odd. They were so mean. It's like they didn't even hide it at one point. And you still didn't get out, right? Well, now you're like, okay, I'm keen. I'm a lot wiser. I'm tuned in more. And you are. But then comes along the avoidant. So number one, we had to learn to speak up for ourselves against kind of a very viciously mean person, the narcissist. I mean, these people are sick and cruel, and it's kind of it can be really intimidating. Okay, it can be scary. So all of a sudden you're like, dude, you get to a point where like, I don't have a choice. If I don't stand up for myself, they're going to kill me. They're going to destroy me emotionally, etc., right? So you stand up, you walk away, you see the red flags, you confront the next one, you walk away from the next one, and all of a sudden, yeah, man, I got this. Okay, I can do this now. I'm stronger now. And I see the signs because I'm tuned in. And that's good. But believe it or not, there's another level. Enter the avoidant. Oh my God. Talking about sweet, kind, gentle, subtle. She did some of the most subtle yet most kindest gestures, loving, and they were genuine. See, here's the thing: the difference between narcissists and avoidance is avoidance actually have a heart. They have love inside, but it's hidden behind this thick, not steel, but it's I'm gonna use steel. I can't remember the word, but like this steel like wall that goes around them, and they have a little slit in the front where the love comes out, and it pierces your heart, and you feel it just like when Cupid shoots you in the heart with a heart arrow. I mean, it is a love you will never ever experience again, or at least you probably never experienced it before. It is incredible. Like, this was like, oh, this is love. Now I know what love is. Now here's the deal. Avoidants do want love. These are genuinely good people. But like any country, they have to protect themselves. You know, you're going to have your jet fighter pilots, and you're going to have your naval ships with the cannons and the bombs and machine guns and military soldiers to protect you. And so does an avoidant. And so should you as an empath. And that's the one thing as empaths, we're not really good at protecting ourselves or standing up for ourselves or noticing when people are hurting us really badly. This is a really tough thing for empaths to learn, because our whole thing is just surrender, drop the walls, and be loving to everyone. There was a post online. It was a famous singer, and I can't remember who it is right now, but I just saw it today. And he said something to the effect of, I'm walking away from the people who hurt me and are abusive, and I'm going to love the people that, that are over here, essentially. And one woman goes, well, I'm doing it the Jesus way. I'm loving everybody. Well, I wrote down, and I made a video about this years ago, like, what do you mean love everyone? God in the Bible clearly states, stay away from demons, stay away from the devil, stay away from demonic entities and influences and powers, etc. Period. End of sentence. You are not supposed to mingle with those that harm you, hurt you, and attack you. That is as biblical as it gets. When Jesus says, now listen to the words, because these words inherently express this. Jesus says to love each other. He didn't say everyone. He said each other. Meaning your own kind. Meaning loving, God-fearing people. I don't like the word use God-fearing, but God-loving people. People who are of the heart. See, there's narcissists, don't have a heart. Again, avoidants absolutely have a beautiful light, a beautiful heart. Unfortunately, because they've been hurt, they pretty much have it covered up with this big, thick wall of steel. Whereas empaths, you don't have any wall. Whereas a narcissist, they don't have any light inside. They don't have any love. Another thing the Bible says, God says, is to protect your heart. I just read this online just the other day. So why does God say this if people think, oh, you're supposed to love everyone? No, that's not necessarily true. It doesn't mean you're supposed to hurt anyone or a group of people, but you're not supposed to love everyone, meaning don't open your heart to certain people. You're supposed to protect your heart, protect your love. You are supposed to protect that connection between you and God, between you and Spirit. Your heart is the doorway to God, literally. If you protect it, see, how do I know? Because I've been hurt by, like this last narcissist attack, I got so hurt, I closed off, and it literally felt for the first time in my life that, oh, there's no God. I can't feel God anymore. It's like, was this all an illusion? No, it's because I was cut off from my emotions and my feelings. Your right brain is the emotional processor. Your emotions and your heart and soul are the open doorway to God. So if you are hanging around with people that are damaging you, it closes off and cuts off the connection between you and spirit, you and soul, you and God. So in walks the avoidant, the most precious person you're ever going to meet, the most beautiful, maybe not physically beautiful, but just their heart, their soul. Because here's what happens. Okay, watch this. They want love so bad that when it's kind of like they go through this cycle, okay? And when they get out of a relationship, they've been single for a while, next thing you know, like, man, I feel lonely, and they want love. So they really, really do want love. They want intimacy. They want closeness, because their whole life they were told, oh, that's not good. You're not being strong. You got to be strong. Got to close up, right? So there's this internal battle that's going on between them with what I call an NLP, a parts conflict, which, by the way, can be healed. So in comes the sweetest, most gentle, and that's what it was. They were gentle and kind, and man, did that just melt my heart. Oh my God. I was like, I am going to protect this person with my life. Now, one of the challenges with avoidance, so they have this conflict. Their internal core, the real who they are, wants love. They want intimacy. They want to be loved. They crave it. Yet on the other hand, they were raised on this is like the complete opposite side of them. Oh, you shouldn't want love. You got to be strong, got to close up, got to be independent. All this just cold bullshit. And so they have this back and forth thing. So the minute they start to open up, all their training and conditioning comes in like, oh, this is wrong, run. So when they start getting close to you at the same time, they're already looking for reasons not to like you. Not necessarily not to like you, but they're looking for reasons of why they shouldn't be dating you, and what, reasons to get out of the relationship, like why this isn't going to work. They could be madly head over heels in love with you. In fact, here's the deal. When they really get close emotionally and they really start feeling love, that's when they start to panic and they start looking for reasons, and they do what I call fault finding. It's very similar to devaluing, but it's not as harsh. It hurts, but it's different. Now here's the deal. So they're going to start picking you apart. They're going to start pulling up some of the unconscious stuff that you weren't aware still is there. Now here's the real big deal. In walks, so you dealt with a narcissist, but narcissists they are kind of obvious. Like, they're literally at a point for years, they don't even hide it. They just cut you down in front of people. They shame you. They humiliate. It's really obvious. And all your friends are like, dude, what are you doing? Get away from this person. You're like, oh, I love them. It's because you're trying to go back to the original love bombing phase, which it never happens. So you finally heal from that, and you put up the Great Wall of China. You're single, you're alone, you don't date, you don't open up emotionally, you heal yourself over a period of 3, 4, 5 years. You get back out in the world, and in comes the avoidant, this sweet, kind, gentle, genuine person. And here's the deal. In the beginning phases, they really are in a good space, open-hearted, and that's the thing. You can feel this. And you start to fall in love with them, and you feel this connection. They feel the connection, and then they're going, oh shit, and they start to panic, they start to freak out, and that's when they start to fault find. They start to slowly find reasons to find their way out of the relationship. Now, here's the thing. Then what they do is, poof, they're gone. They might be gone for 5 days the first time, and then 20 the next time, or 10 the next time, and then, boom, next thing you know, they're gone for a month, up to 6 months. This can trigger a feeling of being unwanted. This can trigger feelings of abandonment wounds that you have inside, etc., etc. This will trigger you feeling like you're not worthy. So here was this person that opened up to you, that got closer and closer. You had a lot of fun. You laughed. And that's the thing about avoidance. In the beginning, they're really charismatic, okay? And the whole time, it's like they started to fault find. And instead of confronting them, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, what'd you just say? That's kind of rude. Or they might try to find fault in something you're saying, like, that's not what I meant, but you didn't do that. You didn't stand your ground and flex your boundaries, because you're like, oh, they're so kind and sweet. And even the way they do it is it's very kind of almost kind and sweet, like feminine. It's like, you overlook it, and that's what an empath does. That's one of our biggest faults, is we overlook people's bullshit. We overlook when people are rude, when they're disrespectful, instead of going, whoa, wait, what's going on? Why would you say that? I am telling you, God is testing. I'm not saying he's testing you. It is a test, but it's more of a learning. It's more of a like, hey, if you don't let these people, narcissists, do this to you, why are you letting this person? Because they're so sweet. They're so, what's the word I use? The special. They're precious. And I'll be honest with you, that's what got me. Now here's the deal. There was one day, I think it was the third day, when I saw it. It was subtle. It was, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say smooth, but it was like, whoa, that was crafty. That was professional. That was like, and it happened like 3 times in a row. And I remember looking at her going, wait, is she looking for a reason not to like me? That was the weirdest thing in the world. Well, since then, that was months ago, I've studied a lot. It's like, no, it's called fault finding. They're trying to find a way to get out because they really like you. And that's the part that really kind of screws with you, because you can feel that they like you, and yet they're doing this thing over here, and they're doing it on a very mild level. And you're like, that doesn't make sense, because it's not like they're like, oh, you're a loser. Oh, it's like, it's so gentle and so subtle. You're like, oh, I can overlook that. And but your brain kind of goes, but why are they doing that? The answer is because they're falling in love with you, or because they love you. They have feelings for you, and that's freaking them out. And they you see, most humans are like, well, why are you leaving me? No reason, just want to leave. Imagine being in love with someone, married, or even dating them for 6 weeks or 6 months, and they just stop calling you. They have to have a reason, not only for you, but for themselves. It's like their brain has to logically have a logical reason of, because they're like, well, why am I leaving this person? I love this person. I have these great feelings about this person. And that's why it's like, and yet on the other hand, the other side of them is like, run, there's a panic alarm that goes off, and like, but why? Even inside them, they're like, well, why am I leaving? I have to have a reason. So again, it's somewhat similar to a narcissist when they're looking for anything to cut you down. The avoidant isn't looking to cut you down. They're looking to go, okay, I can't just leave. I have to have a reason, but it still hurts. Okay, now with me and my avoidant, I remember the third time I talked to her, I had walked in and I said something like, oh, you're an angel, or something like that. Someone had said something, or she said something, and I said, oh, you're an angel. And she kind of gave me this, it was a smile, it was cute, but it kind of had a devilish grin, and said, oh, what did she say? She said something like, oh man, hold on. It wasn't this, it was a little bit more subtle, but it was something like, oh, I'm a devil, you just don't know it. But she didn't say devil, but it wasn't like that, it wasn't demon, nothing like that at all. But it was something like, oh, I'm not an angel, I'm blah, blah, blah. And right then, I was like, you know how like in narcissist videos are like, what's the phrase? It's Maya Angelou's phrase. She says, and a lot of people in the narcissist, videos say this too, is like, when someone shows you who they are, believe them, right? So when she said that, I was like, oh God. And I knew right then and there, it's like, oh God. And I thought, I don't care. I'm going to find out what's going on here. So I'm telling you right then and there, I literally said to myself, you're going to get hurt. This is going to hurt. And she said something else about how, like, I don't understand why people always, say that, I hurt them, blah, blah, blah. And I remember right then going, yep, you're going to find out and it's going to hurt. But I was curious. I'm like, okay, what is this? All right, here's the deal. I have this belief. I look at life as like you're on this massive ship in the ocean water, and it at times can get rocky, and there's storms and waves, and you're going to be crashing against those waves. You might even crash up against a rock, and things are going to happen. Things are going to get damaged. And here's the thing, though. I know that if I don't do that, I'm not going to understand, and I'm not going to learn. At this point in my life, I believe it's kind of like God made me strong enough to go through these things. And they hurt. They hurt to the point where, like, I want to give up. Like, there was a point in time where I was not happy. I was hurting. But I was learning a lot. If you don't learn, you can't go out and adventure. You can't move forward in life. And I didn't want to, I don't want to be and didn't want to be one of those humans who just hide from the world. Because essentially, that's what a lot of people do, because they don't understand what's going on. All they know is they got hurt. So instead of learning, they hide. And besides, you get the benefit of it. So in the aftermath, I remember clearly telling myself multiple times, like, wow, she's really kind of cut me down here. She's, fault finding and, devaluing, and like, wow, this kind of sucks. And I remember the third time just biting my tongue, just being like, yeah, I don't know if this is going to work. But I was going through a learning process. And I clearly knew in the moment when she said, oh, I'm not an angel, I'm a little devil, or I forget what she said. And I knew right then and there that Maya Angelou phrase came up. When they show you, believe them. So when they tell you, believe them. And I knew, like, okay, I'm gonna go through a painful learning process here. And you know what it was? I'm looking back going, the minute she said something rude, I should have said, whoa. Like, why would you say that? I should have confronted her, called her out on it. And that's the lesson right there. God's like, why would you let this person say this stuff to you, or about you, or to you? And I'm like, wow, you know what, you're right. This is like, I didn't even say a word. I realized I was not having healthy boundaries. I was letting this person do this to me, and she did it more than once, and I'm on, wow, like, wow, when I look back, okay, here's the thing though that I did do. I kept saying, hey, I want to sit down with you and talk. We need to talk about some stuff. Well, being the avoidant that she is, she's like, yep, I'm out of here, bye. And I say that with all the cuteness in the world. Because God's saying, just because someone, and now here's the deal, watch this. This is a genuinely kind, loving, good person. God's saying, just because someone's kind, just because someone's sweet, just because someone cuts you in a very nice, kind, feminine way, that doesn't mean it's okay. Hold your boundaries. Have boundaries. Speak up and say, hey, that's not cool. Now here's the cool thing about it. You don't have to yell or scream or even get angry, but just say, hey, like, what's going on here? And have a discussion about it. And I tell you what, that probably was the lesson. I think if I did that the first or second time it happened, I think there would have been a complete shift in the experience, in the relationship. And that's what it was all about, is for me to raise it to the next level. And here's the thing, it's not defensive. It's not like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's actually a calm. See, if you're in a panic, you may actually not say anything at all because you're, I'm afraid of hurting their feelings or whatever. But if you're in a more calm, grounded space, you can say, hey, can we talk about what you just said? And I'm not even going to give you some technique. It's really just do it in a calmer, more grounded way. And things will work out a lot better. And it may be like they might deny it or they may repeat it. And you're like, and then you're just going to have to realize, like, well, this is something I'm going to have to walk away from. Remember, as I've said many times, self-respect is healthy boundaries. Or, a better way of saying this, self-love is healthy boundaries. When you love yourself, you protect yourself. That's healthy self-esteem. And that's self-respect. This is the lesson that God is wanting us to learn and develop and kind of condition into us. One thing I realize is I don't really like it when people say, oh, God's testing you, because it really pisses you off. Like, why is God testing me? No, God's not testing you. God is conditioning you. He's coaching you. He's getting you to begin to develop this really, really healthy way of dealing with people and here's the thing, my emotions and feelings right now are wonderful. Just like this angel, it's beautiful. It's this bright white energy inside my heart right now. It's just a really good feeling. It's not coming from a place of hurt or anger or, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. It's coming from a grounded space of love and just feeling good. So if I were to talk to this person right now, it would be a great conversation, not only for me, but for her as well. Now, imagine having children and dealing with their issues from this space. It's a lot healthier space to be in, to not only understand children, but really listen to understand what they're communicating with you, and to relate, and then to communicate to them in this way. It's grounded, it's solid, there's no weakness here, and it feels good, and both parties will be able to have an open receiving communication. I can be a much better father from this place, a much better spouse, husband, lover, like being in a relationship. I can even dealing with my clients. When you can come from this space dealing with people, you can understand them better. They can understand you better, and the healing process is improved. God's not testing you. God is helping you. God is healing you. God is teaching you how to step into your own power, into your own space that feels really good, where you can have healthy boundaries. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you learned something really, really powerful in this video. Alright, that's it guys. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. Go ahead and click subscribe. Remember, click that bell. Go ahead and make a comment. And if you want, you can go ahead and make a donation. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box. And remember, for men and women, you can buy either one of my books, Crack the Female Code for Men or Why Men Just Don't Get It for Women. Alright guys, God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.